I'm back. It's been a second or two since I have posted anything, so I'll show you what I've been up to. Kind of went back to my first love, which is drawing. This is a page, a Xerox page from my sketchbook, and I'm going to attempt to make this into a collage. It's a 5x7 piece. I also want to share with you what I have been doing related to the technique I'm going to show you today. Here is an image I call enmeshed, and I used just security envelopes and black cardstock to create this collage, which I am very proud of. I really like the way it turned out, and it's probably going to find its way into a show next year. So I'll keep you updated on that. And it took a minute. It was not something that I did really quick like I normally do here on the channel, but it did take a lot of thought, and it also took a great deal of revision. So I'm going to do something similar today with Harmony. I'll show you also what I've been doing with Harmony off camera, but it is with more color, obviously, than Enmeshed was. Enmeshed was black and white, gray monochromatic tones in security envelopes to achieve what we got here. I did find a red security envelope that I used for the heart and for the lips. So we'll put Enmeshed off to the side. We're going to work with Harmony today. This is obviously 8x10 and this is 5x7. So I'm going to work with 5x7 because it'll just be easier, and I should have enough ephemera, being the security envelopes. This was all magazine paper and obviously not finished. I like the way it's coming out, but I got a lot of work with the hair, and that's where I got like, oh, I'm tired. I'm going to put this off to the side for now, and I want to work on something else in regard to a video and posting. So here are my security envelopes, and we got a lot. And we're working with blue instead of gray. Am I going to need cardstock? I might, and I will allow myself that. It won't just be strictly the security envelopes. Probably need to consider that when we get to the larger places on the image, especially the hair, where we might need something that's more solid. I do like the solid look with the security envelopes in collage because it adds a nice contrast, and we're always going for contrast in collage. I want to take a second to explain my approach to this. We have a lot of detail, and that's always a good thing, but it's also cumbersome. I also realize I don't have a lot of ephemera, so mistakes being made could pose a problem. That being said, what I like to do when I tackle a project like this is address it by way of the most detailed area and or the area that is the focal point. In this case, it's going to be the face. So when I began the color version of Harmony, I started with the face. And I believe that's the best way to approach it. Approach it with the focal point of the image, tackle that, and then be cognizant of all the little details going on. Hands and ears, mouths, noses, eyes, those are all not hard to do, but sometimes they get frustrating. So that's how I'm going to approach it. I actually am not sure what I'm going to do with this area yet. A lot of work was done off camera, so I have the female side done. I also did the male side, and I am concluding that it definitely will need strong contrast, either this black or navy blue. Black never hurts. You can't go wrong. But we have security envelopes that are very light. I tried to turn it facing other directions to offer contrast. That helps a little bit. But if I want to make this work, definitely need a solid color to break up the lack of contrast. I'm not sure if it's going to be successful, so we'll keep working at it, keep going. It did take a while to do all of this detail work, probably about 2 hours off camera. And I don't have any problem with that because I was playing with what would look good, what would offer good contrast. And this is what we came up with. So let's just keep going. I've been doing a lot of work off camera on areas of this picture that have a great deal of detail. Just to show you, it's going to be the hands. Hands are always a lot to work with. And also because of contrast, I want to make sure there's enough contrast to see. I wanted to use this type of design for the hand here. And that's good, except there was an issue with this design. There wasn't a lot of good contrast, and I know it's kind of difficult to see. So what I've been doing is measuring the designs up against each other of these security envelopes. I noticed that this probably needed something of a shadow, so I came in with the black paper and decided to create a shadow for a portion of the hand because one part of the hand does have good contrast with the black. So I just stayed with that and kind of carried on with it just to create a shadow. I found how vital it is to have this black cardstock on hand, and it's not obviously a security envelope, but it's something it needed it. I'm probably going to put black in here as well. It's okay. I like it, actually. I'm very pleased with it. I like black for the hands. So other small details that I need to address, I'm going to come in with later. I think he needs to have a black eyebrow. I just feel like it does. And this was also, and I gave her a little thumbnail right here. So just incy wincy tiny bits so it's more legible, because I'm not sure how legible it'll be if there is enough contrast. A lot of work, as you can see, done off camera. That's just because it's actually somewhat easier, and the details are what they are, but I have to work with the details, and sometimes I forget to turn the camera on. But I just want to share that. I'm going to continue working on this area and see how much we can get done. This technique is, it's a good technique. I don't want to slam my own techniques here, but it does have its drawbacks, that being tape. I am using basic Scotch tape. I am using double-sided tape, and I am using painter's tape just to keep things in place and then to eventually adhere to the image. However, I'm also creating layers, and I create layers with that tape. And when that happens, unfortunately, craftsmanship becomes an issue. When I have 2 or 3 layers of paper like this with tape holding it together, and I have to come back and cut through it so I have a good stencil, template, mask, whatever you want to call it, and I can fit my paper in easily. I have to do a lot of cutting, and when I do that cutting, sometimes the edges look ragged, and it's something that I can see and bugs me so much. And I'd like to find another way of going about it, especially with something detailed as this. This is just so you get a good idea of what I'm talking about. Right here, his chin. Look under his chin if you can. I don't make everything blurry. He's got about 3 or 4 pieces of paper, security envelope, black cardstock, and tape because I got to keep him all together. He has different layers going on. So when you create those layers with this technique, you've got to be cognizant of the tape you might be cutting through because tape is the culprit. Tape is what really messes me up. And not only that, when I come back here, say, and I cut to make this space and to put in the security envelope, I have to cut through the image, I have to cut through tape and cardstock, and that's where stuff can get really messed up. And it's also where scrunching can happen, and that's so frustrating because you work so hard to make a good detailed piece and things get scrunched up and you have to come back and cut it. I also run into issue that I want to deviate from my original image because, well, just in many cases, it's just easier to do. And sometimes I have to. But I really don't want to do that, especially if it wasn't the intent. If it's something very, very small, I don't worry about it too much. But if it's something major, like, switching a limb around, maybe, I have to really consider, why am I doing it? Am I doing it to make the piece look better, or am I doing it because I want to get it finished? This piece I started, a couple days ago, and I came back to it today with a very sharp X-Acto knife. I've been going through my X-Acto knives a little bit, and I have other projects going on also. So I have to keep refreshing my X-Acto, and whenever I go to a part of the image that there's going to be a lot of detail, like this thumb and the nail, when I address this, I really want to make sure I've had a good night's sleep, I've had plenty of coffee, and that my X-Acto is ready to go. There are little errors that I catch as I'm working. For example, this portion of the arm, I realized hadn't cut the way I wanted it to. It just needed to be more of a curve. So I had to go back and lift the tape and give it a nice clean cut. But I had this part already established. So fortunately, I try to hinge the tape when I'm working like this with the details in case I have to go back. So the piece will stay in place. It's hinged on one side with the tape, and I can just lift it and do my correction, and then everything is all better now.